Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and this is my 2023 G.I. Joe Classified Top 11 Figures of the Year. And yes, I'm doing 11. Why? Well, because one of them snuck in right after Christmas, and it was like, how dare you? I didn't feel that it was right to take them out. Actually, I was just felt it was going to be harder. So I'm like, you know what? I need to figure out. This one is just, it deserves to be in the top 10. But instead of just taking them out, I said, hey, let's do a top 11. How many people are doing a top 11? And, oh, maybe a lot. I don't know. I don't really pay attention. Anyway, getting into this here, let me just talk about this. This year for G.I. Joe Classified has been absolutely crazy. It's been amazing. There have been some absolutely awesome figures. There's been one awful figure, face sculpt wise. There have been issues with the weapons. There have been some weapons that are really good, and it looks like they've gotten better. There have been some QC issues here and there. It's not as bad as a lot of people think. And the reason why I say that, before people start saying, you're a shill, I'm not going to watch this, is just understand this. Back in the day, in the 80s, we all didn't have cameras on every single device of ours. We didn't have social media. So anytime there's a QC issue, and it's not just Hasbro, it goes for every brand out there, someone is posting a picture and putting that out there. So as someone who has reviewed every single one of them, and you can see I don't sugarcoat anything, going back to my Helix that had a broken arm right out of the box, I'm not going to hide things, and I'm not going to hide that weapons were soft. Some figures were a little gummy. I didn't seem to have too much of an issue with that. So anyway, I don't know why I felt the need to tell you guys all that, but I did. But this year has been crazy. They have flooded us with figures. And again, amazing figures. And to do this list was hard. And it's the reason why I broke it up between classified and everything else that I collect. And that's because it just wouldn't have been fair. It would have been probably, 6 to 7 classified figures in a top 10 video. But I figured let's do the classified top 10/11 characters of the year that I liked. They may not be what you liked. You might not think they're the greatest figures. You might have something different. In the comments, tell me what you thought. But anyway, there's enough of me, right? Let's get to this. But before we do, if you like this type of content, if you like the G.I. Joe content that I'm giving you, take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe. Now, let's just get to number 11. Coming in at number 11 was Grunt, and what can I say that I haven't said on numerous live streams, including my own? This figure had no business being this good, and yes, he is also an army builder, and that is the reason why they gave you the steel core head along with the cartoon laser rifle. Yes, this figure is absolutely amazing. And yes, I know it does say Graves on his plate carrier, but that is something that can easily be removed, especially if you are army building. You should be able to do a little bit of customizing. So with this figure being able to be made into 2 figures, not to mention he was running for $12 at Target for quite some time. He has a backpack that can carry both of his rifles. He has a pistol, and then he has his flip down comm so he can see everything that's going on. This figure came in at number 11, and like I said, if I would have thought that in any way, shape, or form, you could take what may have been the boringest original G.I. Joe figure, and I mean of all the O-rings, and make him one of the best, I would have said you are full of it. But as you can see, 2 figures, literally for the price of 1 if you got him at Target. He came in at number 11. Coming in at number 10 is the Cobra Snow Serpent. This was a fan channel exclusive, and he was also a deluxe. And to say that he comes with a lot is an understatement. And unfortunately, because he comes with so much and he's an army builder and he was a Deluxe, it kind of drove some people crazy. So within this figure, this deluxe figure, you got the wolf pelt, including the headpiece and the cape for him. You have the original cartoon laser rifle. You have the reuse. These are a lot of reuses. The M4 with 203. You get bazookas, bazooka rocket launchers. You have 2 small pistols. You have a snowboard. You have the snowshoes. Everything does fit on him, or he's carrying it. And let's never forget the knife that doesn't go anywhere. Yes, people have wondered, where the hell does the knife go? In the end, this figure did come with so much. He really did hit the feels. And luckily, for people that want an army build but don't want to spend the $35, he is going to be coming out retro carded. So you'll be able to have maybe 1 or 2 of these, and you'll be able to mix and match to make your Snow Serpent leader, and then just have an army full of them. But the other thing that I've also realized is that if you have the Arctic Bat, the bazooka actually works absolutely awesome with them. But there's so many things to do with this figure, and it really did hit the feels of the nostalgic, along with something that's very modern and just ready to go. Coming in at number 9 is G.I. Joe Classified Lowlight. Let me just say, I know there was a lot of issues. I don't mind the sniper other than in the front because of the weight of it and the softness of the plastic. It does start to sag if it's sitting in a straight position. Other than that, this figure is absolutely awesome. The goggles, they fit perfectly. He has a submachine gun, and then he has a rifle case, and everything can fit on his person if you want to be moving him. So with everything that he comes with, this is a standard figure. It's a rifle case, which the rifle fits in absolutely wonderful, so you have no problem packing it in there, and it comes apart really nice and easily. And he also comes with a submachine gun, because obviously you want a sniper to also have another weapon when they're running around. So for me, this figure was done justice. $25 price point is more than adequate for everything that you're going to get, and obviously the poses that you can get for him. Again, feel really strongly about this figure. To put him at number 9, which in actuality should have been a little bit higher if it was for one that snuck in at the end of the year. Coming in at number 8 is the Dreadnought Ripper. Yes, this was not even one of my favorite Dreadnoughts. Probably my 3rd of the major 3. Maybe the 4 if you include Monkey Wrench in there. But this guy, they did right. Hell, he might be in the top 10 just because they finally made glasses proper. But they did a wonderful job recreating the original figure, including using the laser rifle from the cartoon as his weapon. And then contrary to what we all thought as kids, they gave him his jaws of life. And what I mean by that is, as kids, we all thought his jaws of life were a jackhammer. Unless if your father was a firefighter or a paramedic, you thought it was a jackhammer also, and don't say you didn't. Hell, Gridiron actually did a set to go with him, so you could have a jackhammer or the jaws of life, just because that's what everyone thought. But the other detail is the teardrop tattoo, and then the smiley face eye that he has, which is supposed to be a contact. You got to get close up to look, but all in all, a wonderful figure. So Ripper with his big ripstick, that was stupid, comes in at a nice 8. Again, he would have been higher had it not been for the next figure that's going to come up on this list. But to me, he's probably the best Dreadnought that they've done so far. At number 7, we have Mutt Junkyard. And yes, he came in late. I wasn't even supposed to get him until next year, but Amazon just dropped him off. And I have to say that this figure is absolutely awesome. But he would not have made the top 10 without his little animal companion, Junkyard. As you can see, these two are made to go together along with the color scheme and everything. So from the multiple heads of Junkyard, from the happy, good puppy to the angry one that you know is ready to take out someone who's about to hurt his master, to the different weapons that aren't that bad, multiple goggles, which if you know, with the helmet, you put the smaller goggle on backwards, it keeps the helmet nice and stiff, and then you put the other one on top. This figure is a standout, and then multiple hands that equal dog gestures. All he needs now is a small little treat for Junkyard. So for me, I had to get this figure in my top 10. Again, if it was just Mutt by himself, it wouldn't be there. But the fact that he comes with Junkyard just puts him easily in that top 10. And hell, I might put Junkyard in there alone if he came without Mutt. But I love my little doggies, or shall I say my big doggies. Anyway, let's move on. Number 6, we get the Deluxe Snow Job. This was a Pulse exclusive. And let's just say, I know some people had an issue that he was brown. Well, he had brown straps rather than black. Let's be honest, they'll probably come out with a retro carded one. This was a deluxe figure, and he came with so much stuff. And I think it made most people happy, because hell, I can even put this sniper into a pose where he's actually firing it, even with the large gear that he's wearing. So he goes from snowshoes to skis, and what is awesome is that he can carry them both on his backpack, along with putting a sniper in his backpack. And he has a sidearm that goes on the side. His ski poles, everything does fit on this person, and he has goggles that are obviously meant to go up and down and be on and off depending how you look at it. So as you can see, he can hold everything on his person, at least all his accessories. But the one thing this guy does come with is 2 amazing head sculpts. And because he can't be in the snow all the time, I picked up a cheap Tiger Force Recondo and popped the head on it, because I looked at that face sculpt, that head sculpt, and I said, this is too good not to use. And like I said, he can't be in the snow all the time. He's got to have something else going on. So throw in a few other different weapons, a different plate carrier. You have a new figure, well, a same figure, but now you don't have Snow Job always in the snow. Number 5 is the Cobra Eel. He just hits the field. That was lame, and I know this one may bother a lot of people, because some people feel, hey, you know what, it was Amazon exclusive, that was BS, I wasn't able to get it, and I do fully understand. But he is available, you are able to get him, and sorry, I know his pack is on crooked right now, and I noticed after I plugged that in, but this figure came with so much, it hit all the feels of the actual eel when we were a kid. Complaints, he doesn't have another weapon, and the weapon that he does come with is super soft. So with the weapon complaint aside, I have so many weapons, whether they be 3D printed weapons that someone has sent me, Valaverse weapons, other weapons that came with Joe's, marked toys, gridiron. I can find other weapons, but I love this body style. I think it does a really nice job. You now have all types of Navy SEALs that you can do, divers, anything like that, and we're going to see more and more coming. So in the end here, this figure is awesome. I love the fact that the helmet fits on nice and smoothly. It doesn't use the face sculpt as other figures. A lot of people thought they was using a ninja face, but it is not. The helmet does fit on nicely. It can be used on other characters also. Again, the gun is the only thing, but as you can see, I was able to find a replacement. I'm sure you can too. In at number 4 is Torpedo, and you should have seen this one coming. I had Snow Serpent, then I had Snow Job. Again, same buck for the most part, same atmosphere. I just had the eel, same buck. Of course, Torpedo was coming. The difference with this Torpedo is that they do give him a submachine gun. This figure hit absolutely every single type of feel with the original, who I still feel is the best diver in the O-ring line. But you don't need to really update it too much. I mean, dive suits still look fairly the same. I'm sure they've changed for an actual use and how they make them, but look-wise, they look pretty much the same. So because him and Eel share the same buck, what is awesome about this, if you are doing photography, if you are doing stop motion, animation, whatever you call it, you could easily have him take out an eel, put the suit on, the helmet of the eel will fit on Torpedo, and then you could have him kind of swim into the eels, where maybe they don't realize that he's wearing a different suit. Who knows? But again, he looks absolutely awesome, and the fact that they give him a submachine gun, and soon you're going to be able to have a whole SEAL team to go with him. I don't think anyone's too upset about that. Am I right? So number 4, Torpedo. Here he is. Again, I love the face sculpt that he has. I love the fact that I put his backpack on sideways too here. He has a giant nose, but I think it fits. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I'm like, hey, you know what? You're not seeing the whole face sculpt, and I would love if they come out with another Torpedo down the road where he's in more SEAL gear, where he's not exactly in the water. At number 3, we get Scrap Iron and his drone rocket launcher. What can be said about this figure? It was only $45, and the drone itself is probably worth $20. So there you are getting your value. Lots of blast effects. There's actually one that is missing here because he's downstairs in my display, blasting off of Bazooka's bazooka. But anyway, this figure really did a wonderful job. The way they updated the drone, the way that Roman is scratching, because that's what he felt the need to do right now. But he really did a wonderful job, even to his Sega Game, what did I say it was? The Game Gear, right? Game Gear, I think that's what it was, anyway. So you take his helmet off, and he has this wonderful face sculpt that I don't feel people give enough credit to. Again, this figure is almost perfect, and the only complaint that I can say that I really remember having was, you can see what I have him carrying right now. It's a submachine gun. He needed some sort of automatic weapon, in my opinion, but again, when they're giving you so much, if that's where they have to cut the cost, not to give you a smaller submachine gun, then I'm perfectly fine with it, because guess what? I have absolutely so many that I don't even know what to do with. But coming in at number 3 was this bad boy, and how you can get them for around $35, I believe, on clearance and on sale. Coming in at number 2 is the Retro Storm Shadow. There are a few things that I need to say. Yes, I have been the one that says that the retro Carter figures are not part of classified, but they are a classified scale. So if you want to bash me and say then your list isn't proper, then you are more than welcome to. The other thing that people may say is, hey, you know what? This guy is just a repaint. But I had him as number 1 last year, and it wasn't even close. And if you redid him, and you made him even more like the original, and you did some stuff that I thought actually might have made him better, how could I leave him off this list, right? So from the separate set of hands, one with a throwing star, one with a fist, the only complaint that I can really have with this is that the bow and arrow the bow is very soft, and it doesn't stay on the backpack, which is the same issue that I had with the original classified one. You just have to take a little bit of sticky tack and throw it in there, but it comes with the extra arrow, so you can actually get them in a decent throwing or shooting motion if you want to. So as I talked about on a toy kind of mood when I was on doing my top 5, as I mentioned, when it comes to figures and different things like this, when a figure comes out early on in the year, and you're constantly looking at that figure, you're constantly playing around with that figure, and you keep looking at that figure thinking, you know what, damn, this is a good figure. And maybe it came out in January or February, let's say like Elf did. You know it's got to be on your top 5. You know that it is a wonderful figure that deserves to be there. And again, I think this one, again, they knocked it out of the park with the original, and I think they may have just made this one better. But if that one came in number 1 last year, it's hard to keep one that is so much like it off this list. And the number 1 classified figure of the year is the Retro Snake Eyes. I know some people weren't able to get this. I know some people are still waiting on their Walmart order. This figure has shown up on so many top 10 lists. Regardless, it's hard to keep it off. There were no frills about this. They didn't throw on a sword to try and entice people to buy it. They said, this is the Retro Snake Eyes. This is what you should have gotten to represent version 1. This should have been issue 21 Snake Eyes. I thought the other Commando Snake Eyes was awesome. This one actually outdoes it. So from his explosive pouch that he came with the O-ring version, he's got a nice sidearm with a suppressor. His articulation is awesome, and I absolutely love this figure. I mean, honestly, if this was made by someone else, you might be looking at a $50 to $60 figure, and no one's even going to complain about it. So I'm so happy with this figure, and again, I've seen it on so many lists that it pretty much says that I'm right. And so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that Snake Eyes is the first and only so far G.I. Joe and or Cobra character that comes with a grenade, let alone comes with 2 grenades. So if you lose one, shall I say when you lose one, you'll still have another one to go. And as I said before, those grenades are what's going to be worth a lot of money in the future. But this is number 1. That is my 1, or my 11 through 1, shall I say. All right, so that comes to the conclusion of 2023 in my G.I. Joe list, my top 11 of the year. Hell, maybe I'll just do a top 11 every single year, because if they give us another 60 plus figures, I don't know how we're going to nail it down and how you just narrow that all down. But anyway, it's been fun. It's been long. This took longer than I actually originally thought that it was going to. But again, if you like G.I. Joe, if you're into classified, this is a great time to be into it. Everyone's going to have a different opinion, and I don't think anyone's right or wrong, to be honest. Even figures that I don't like, even figures that I've seen that have come out that I had no connection to, or maybe that I didn't even like, look absolutely amazing, because I think the design team has done a wonderful job. So this has been a lot of fun. This has been a long year. It's been a very successful year when it comes to my channel, especially with the G.I. Joe. I feel like I have become something that I really didn't plan on, which was a G.I. Joe channel, but I'm not going to complain, because I think most people will realize that is where a lot of my love comes from. But going into the new year, I can only imagine how many figures we haven't heard about yet that are still to come, because Lenny, we know, has them all just ready to go. They have, I think, up to 2027, something like that they talked about, I thought, of design of figures that they want to do. Now, will the line last so long? God only knows. It's Hasbro. Things could change tomorrow, but hopefully it won't. Hopefully, at least not for the G.I. Joe. So I'm going to get out of here. Again, if you're following me on Instagram, a punk with _toys. The other one is no longer being used. Maybe one day I'll be able to get that account back. Twitter, TikTok, a punk with toys. The Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And last but not least, you have been here this long. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful year. If you haven't yet, please take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a video. Now, I'm going to get out of here. If you are wondering, there are links to every single one of my reviews that I did in order. Take care. Have a wonderful new year. 2024 is going to be wonderful. and absolutely crazy for the rest of us. Don't go anywhere. Up here is my top 10 of my non-classified figures, and here's all the classified playlist of everything that I've done. Take care.